Let's imagine you're stranded in the middle of the ocean and somehow you keep sinking. Past the sunlight, past the point where you can even see your own hands, and into a world of complete and total darkness. Down here, there's no light left at all, except for one thing, a tiny glowing dot floating just a few feet in front of your face. It doesn't move like a fish, it just kind of hovers there, pulsing gently, almost like it's inviting you closer. And if you were smaller and hungrier and a lot less lucky, you'd probably swim right toward it. Because that little light isn't an accident. It's bait, and the thing holding it is one of the most patient, most brutal ambush predators the ocean has ever built. This is the anglerfish, and that glowing light you were about to swim into was never food. It was always a trap. Anglerfish live almost entirely in the midnight zone, the part of the ocean that starts around 1,000 meters down and goes even deeper, where sunlight has never once touched the water. At this depth, there's no plant life, barely any food, and pressure that would crush a human instantly. Most predators down here have to actively hunt for every single meal, burning precious energy in an environment that barely has any to spare. But the anglerfish figured out a way to skip all of that. Instead of chasing its food, it just makes the food come to it. That glowing lure dangling in front of its face is called an esca, and it's not actually part of the fish's own body producing light. It's home to millions of bioluminescent bacteria that the anglerfish essentially farms inside a specialized pouch. The fish provides the bacteria with a safe home and a steady supply of nutrients, and in exchange, the bacteria glow on command. It's a partnership, except only one side of this deal knows it's being used as a murder weapon. And here's the part that makes it so effective. In the midnight zone, there is nothing else producing light except for the occasional flicker of another animal. So when smaller fish or shrimp see that soft, rhythmic glow drifting in the dark, their instincts tell them exactly one thing: food. Something bioluminescent down here is almost always another small creature worth eating. They swim toward it the same way you'd walk toward a lit doorway in a pitch-black room. Except behind that doorway isn't safety, it's a mouth, and it is an enormous mouth. Anglerfish jaws are absurdly oversized compared to the rest of their bodies, and they're hinged in a way that lets them expand outward in every direction the instant something gets close enough. Inside, the teeth are long, thin, and curved backward, angled directly toward the throat. Once something touches those teeth, there is no swimming back out. Every single movement just drags the prey deeper in, like walking into a hallway lined with one-way doors. But the truly disturbing part isn't the teeth, it's the stomach. Anglerfish have stomachs that can stretch to more than twice the size of their entire body, which means they can swallow prey almost as big as they are, whole. Down here, meals are so rare that when one finally shows up, there's no point in being picky about portion size. You eat everything all at once because you genuinely have no idea when your next chance is coming. So at this point, you've got a fish with a built-in fishing rod, a mouth that turns into a one-way trapdoor, and a stomach that basically has no limit. That alone would make the anglerfish one of the most efficient ambush predators on Earth. But here's the part almost nobody actually knows about, and it's honestly stranger than the lure itself. Every single anglerfish you have ever seen a picture of, every viral photo, every deep-sea documentary clip is a female. The lure, the teeth, the giant stomach, all of that belongs exclusively to females. Males look completely different. They're a fraction of the size, they have no lure, and they can barely even feed themselves. And that's because the male anglerfish isn't built to survive on its own. It's built to find a mate exactly once and then disappear into her body forever. In the pitch-black, empty vastness of the deep ocean, running into another anglerfish at all is incredibly rare. So when a male finally detects a female, usually by smell, he doesn't get a second chance to be picky. He swims toward her and bites down onto her body, anywhere he can reach, and then his mouth fuses directly into her skin. Over time, his body starts dissolving into hers. His eyes shrink away. His organs break down one by one until basically nothing is left of him except his reproductive tissue, permanently connected to her bloodstream. He stops being an individual animal entirely and just becomes a permanent, built-in sperm supply, quite literally living off of her body for the rest of his life. Some females have even been found with multiple males fused onto them at once. like little parasitic attachments she's just been carrying around. It sounds absolutely horrifying, and honestly, it kind of is. But it's also a genius solution to an impossible problem. In an environment this dark, this empty, and this deep, finding a mate a second time might just never happen again. So evolution's answer wasn't romance, it was permanence. Once you find one, you never ever let go. And that single decision is exactly why the anglerfish is still around today. Everything about this animal, the light, the jaw, the stomach, the fused mate, all of it exists for one reason. Down here, second chances basically don't exist. You get one shot at a meal and one shot at a mate, and the anglerfish just happens to be exceptionally good at making sure neither one ever gets away. So the next time you see a picture of an anglerfish and think it just looks like a nightmare for no reason, remember that every single part of it evolved because the deep ocean simply doesn't forgive mistakes. That tiny glowing light isn't curiosity, it isn't friendliness. It's the last thing a lot of animals ever see. And somewhere down there right now, in complete darkness, one is quietly glowing, waiting for something small and hungry to make the same mistake all over again. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see why giant squids are terrified of something way smaller than them, check out that video here.